Hey, how's it going, YouTube friends? It is me, Never, your ever effervescent host, and you're watching The Never Show. Yes, the only show, Lemon Scented Limes, lest I forget, and the only show, the supernatural, super awesome Third Eye. And yes, it's Wednesday again, so that means we review the movies. So let's get into that beautiful film. And today's movie is Spider-Man Homecoming. It is a PG-13 movie. It is 2 hours and 13 minutes. I have a bit of an issue with the runtime. Just saying. It's an action-adventure sci-fi, but we all know that. Directed by Jon Watts. Writers were Jonathan Goldstein, John Francis Daly. Jon Watts, our director, also had some writing in the screenplay. Christopher Ford, Christopher McKenna, and Eric Summers, based on the Marvel comic books by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, based on the characters of Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, the legend himself. Cast was Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I don't know. I wasn't ready for a Tom Holland Spider-Man, but he's starting to grow on me. I still don't like him. I feel like he looks kind of like Christian Burns, and Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes as the Vulture. I love him. It is nice to see that he has gone from Birdman, which I didn't like, and from Batman to villain. And I think he was a wonderful. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, always consummate. Marissa Tomei as May Parker. Dear God, can we stop making May Parker younger and younger? It doesn't work in the Spider-Man universe. People who follow the classic Spider-Man, like I have growing up in the 80s, remember May as an older, frailer woman who, wasn't super active and wasn't, always looking in. But, they keep regressing Peter back to high school. So, Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan. I love this guy. He's always a great actor. Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, always beautiful. Zendra as Michelle, Donald Glover as Aaron Davis, Jacob Baton as Ned, Laura Harrier as Liz, Tony Revolti as Flash Thompson, I think, Brooke Woodbine as Hermione Schultz, as Herman Schultz. Oh, flubbing names again, staple of this channel. As Shocker number 2, although there were like 3 Shockers in the original series. Tyne Daly as Anne Marie Hogue, Abraham Atta as Abe, Hannibal Buress as Coach Wilson. Production companies were Columbia Pictures, Marvel Studios, and Pascal Pictures. Our distributor here in the good old US of A was Sony Pictures Entertainment. Special effects with Digital Domain, Direct Dimensions, DID, which I don't know what they did, some 3D scanning or something. Exceptional Minds, Gentle Giant Studios. There's not many people here. They did get ILM in this for somehow. I don't know what. ILM has been in a lot of pictures I've watched lately. LiDAR Guys, Luma Pictures, Method Studios, Sony Pictures, ImageWorks. Wow, they worked with ILM. I can't believe it. South Bay Motion Pictures Technology, Stereo D, Trixar Film, VFX. There's 9 million credits for this stuff. I'm not going to cover it all because you don't want to hear that. That's the technical stuff. Okay, my thoughts on the film. One, I hate when they do vlogger starts the movie. And if I can shoot it and be less shaky, Tom Holland looking like Christian Burns, you know, is it too soon for that meme? I don't know. My biggest complaint was can't this Peter Parker make his own suit? This was the problem with the beginning, that, you know, Tony Stark slaps a brand new suit loaded with technology on him. And I just felt very uncomfortable with that. It didn't make sense until way later on in the movie where where that tech finally starts making sense. That was kind of frustrating for me as, someone who's watched a lot of Spider-Man movies. There is one thing that I have to admit. They do get points on my good side for playing Ramon songs in the soundtrack. But they only use the one Ramon song. There are many. 17 minutes in, Stan Lee pops in for a cameo, as always. My biggest problem was Peter stealing from the chem lab to create his web fluid. It just seems out of place for Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, to be caught like that. Also, getting caught by a school pal seems a little meh for me. I think Peter Parker would be more, careful. His spider sense would be tingling or something, and he wouldn't, walk into a room. My biggest problem was that a lot of YouTubers spoiled this for me. I'd like to thank the film theorists for their theory on why Spider-Man is dead and why web strings the tragic truth. Also, how it should have ended. 5 stages of how to watch a Spider-Man. Links are in the description. Go watch these. It'll ruin the movie for you. My last problem on this film. The runtime is a little long for me, 2 hours and 35 minutes. And you have all this build up to Spider-Man trying to figure this stuff out. And you're like, if you've seen other Spider-Man movies, like I've seen other Spider-Man movies, you kind of wish that they could, progress through that quicker. And it just seemed like there was a lot of stuff that was building. I felt a little uncomfortable with the whole Tony Stark and Happy babysitting Spider-Man. I mean, even though he's just a high school student, he is a superhero. I don't think he needs that. And there was a lot of teenage angst and whining. And if I want to see teenage angst and whining again, I can go watch Deathgasm any day of the week. I have it on DVD, for God's sakes. It just seems a little overdone, I don't understand why a lot of people like this. It's very popular. But for someone who's grown up with Spider-Man, who's been, fed a diatribe of Spider-Man cartoons and stuff like that, this passion that people have for the younger Spider-Man, I don't know. It's just kind of worn off for me. It just doesn't feel the same, after so many restarts. And I don't understand the popularity on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. It just doesn't make sense to me. The movie does have its high points. I mean, it does get better towards the end. You start to figure out all these things, and stuff starts to make sense with you. And I just wish they could have gotten to that quicker. Pacing is always a problem sometimes, especially when you have 10 writing credits on this thing. And then you're, building off the source material of Jack Kirby and who else was it? I can't think of their name. Jeez, just slipped my mind real quick. And Joe Simon. Do I see this as a TV watch? Most definitely. Do I see this as a DVD buy? With the budget so tight, I just can't buy DVDs. I will put it on the list. It's someday in the future. I will have a huge library of DVDs and be proud of it, but just not today. Do I see this as a theater rewatch? No. Even if I did want to rewatch it, with my medical bills skyrocketing right now and the difficulties I'm having just making a YouTube video, the budgets are just so razor tight. I'm trying to just keep the projects I have going, and it just makes it really frustrating. That said, if you like what you see in here, please click that like button. It gives me some idea if I'm doing good or bad. And with YouTube Ad Apocalypse on and everything, it tells me that at least you're enjoying what I'm making. Remember, all comments are 100% guaranteed response. Tell me your realities, your fan fictions, your fantasies, anything you want. Cum and blood and bodily fluids all over the place. Spill your guts out. Tell me your troubles. Whatever you want. Tell me you hate this video. I'm good with it. I can handle it. Sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you. And I'm that guy right now. But keep it real. I can smell a lie like a fart in a smart car. And if you're yanking my chain, you're not going to get much response. And if you want to see more of this nonsense, click that subscribe button and that little bell icon.
Ding.
And I will see you all in the next movie review. Bye.